up on Pulse. The most popular first-person shooter series of all time is headed to the silver screen.
Plus, Intellivision Lives. We'll look back at the classic console and the people who made it happen.
And Unreal Tournament 2003 has landed. We've got all the info on the evolution of the series. That's all coming up right now on Pulse.
Welcome to Pulse, your weekly look into the world of interactive entertainment. I'm Ronnie Lynn Riley.
And I'm Patrick Clark. In today's show, we'll find out why chain frisbees are all the rage this fall because of a certain game called Rygar.
Plus, it's the Rams versus the Dolphins in the 4th round of the Madden Challenge. We'll take you to our nation's capital for the highlights.
But first, Hell on Earth is coming to the big screen. The dark world of the first-person shooter series, Doom, is the latest game to get the tap from Hollywood. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Warner Brothers and id Software, the makers of the game, are putting the final touches on a feature film deal. To ensure that Doom doesn't get caught in development hell, the deal is structured so that cameras will have to roll within 15 months, or else the rights go back to id Software. And in case you were looking forward to some good, healthy demon blood splatter on the screen, the studio is aiming for a heartwarming PG-13 rating.
The people of Greece can once again look forward to actually playing the video game version of Doom. The country recently banned all electronic games in an attempt to curtail online gambling and electronic slot machines. Now the country's finance ministry has come to its senses and given video gaming a go, as long as it doesn't involve financial benefit.
There's no money involved in EA's latest offer. They're sending out the call for people to test out the multiplayer mode of the upcoming game Command & Conquer Generals. Sign-ups will be held at generals.ea.com on October 10th at midnight. If you get in within the first 24 hours, you could be one of the lucky 3,000 gamers who get to join the war early.
More details have been released on the upcoming Legend of Zelda game. You'll be able to link up your Game Boy Advance to your GameCube and activate something called a Tingleceiver.
What?
Using the Tingleceiver, you'll be able to control a character named Tingle with the GBA controller and unlock new areas of the game. It's all part of Nintendo's big thing they call connectivity.
The Zelda series has been around since the days of 8-bit, competing against other Nintendo favorites like Rygar. The hero with the chain frisbee gadget has been on the top of gamers' whatever happened to list. Well, now there's an answer in the form of Rygar for the PS2. On a recent trip to Japan, we talked to one of the minds behind the game in this week's First Look.
In general, Rygar is a spectacular action-adventure game. It's very difficult to express in one word, but it's a game where you feel excited once you hold the controller. The background is a Greco-Roman story, so it starts there. The story is based on Argos Island, taking place after the collapse of the Roman Empire. There's a Princess Harmonia, and it starts with her being kidnapped. Your main goal is to get her back, but there are all these monsters and gods and other elements that come out. The names of the characters and the enemies come from real mythology, but we've combined some of the stories and settings with our original ideas. 16 years ago, Rygar was in the arcade and on the Nintendo system, and we've used the same title, but while remaking it, we created something completely new, and we can satisfy the old fans as well. The key weapon will be the disc armor. First of all, it's a weapon, and second of all, it's a defense mechanism, and third, it can be used for transportation. You grasp something on the high wall, and the chain will come out so you can climb the wall. If there's a floating object in the sky, you can move like Tarzan to each object. I always liked Greco-Roman mythology. It's different from reality. It just feels good when you're the hero, and I wanted to show that in the game.
From the people that brought you the Turok name change comes the latest flavor in Mad Men marketing, speeding payoffs. Acclaim is at it again, this time with a UK promotion for its game Burnout 2 that lets speeders get off scot-free. Acclaim has said that it will refund the fines of anyone caught speeding on October 11th, the day the game is released in the UK. While gamers may be applauding, the Department of Transport isn't so happy, saying that promotion is actually encouraging people to drive recklessly. Acclaim has responded that it's not condoning speeding, it's simply easing the financial pain a bit.
Huh, that's all right. It'd be nice if they could pay for your day off so you could play more video games.
Right, or maybe they could just subsidize all snacks eaten while playing games.
Yeah, what will they think of next? All right. Well, not all game companies have to go to such extreme lengths to get gamers to pick up their new titles. Some of the games feature familiar faces, and the gaming public is responding. We've got the top video game pre-orders for the holiday season in this week's EB Games Top 10. At 10, it's Back to the Red Dots and Contra Advance for the Game Boy Advance. At 9, The Legends of Wrestling duke it out in the green ring of the Xbox. Tony Hawk's got an army of skaters ready to play his fourth adventure at number 8. Steel Battalion comes in at number 7 for the Xbox. Don't forget to bring a trailer to take home the controller. It's basketball season again with NBA 2K3 for the PS2 in at number 6. At 5, NBA Live 2003 brings you pro basketball, real teams, and a little rapper named Fabulous. The Mech Warrior 4 expansion brings out PC Mercenaries at number 4. The fans have spoken. They've pre-ordered, and now the Xbox has hit a three-pointer with NBA 2K3. At number 2, it's the latest chunk of online real estate, EverQuest, Planes of Power for the PC. And at number 1, it's the sunny skies and seedy underbelly of Grand Theft Auto, Vice City for the PS2.
There's still more to come in this edition of Pulse. After the break, it's the history of getting sneaky. We'll take a look back at the very first video game Easter egg.
Plus, we'll find out how a group of classic game designers brought Intellivision to life. All that and more, only on Pulse.
Get into the game like never before.
If you're watching this, you're watching G4TV, and if you're not, then you're asleep and no one knows.
Get the lowdown on the latest hype from the only network dedicated to video games. G4 invades your television with the hottest adrenaline-pumping, bone-cracking action you won't find anywhere else 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with 13 original series for gamers, by gamers.
Hi, I'm Bill Sindelar, and welcome to Blister.
G4 goes behind the scenes.
Playing music, video games, and scratching, there's the same type of energy, just releasing your soul through just having fun.
To bring you the insider information that no gamer should be without.
He walked up to me and was like, "You want to be in a video game?" And I was like, "Yeah, but it's got to be really cool."
With up-to-the-minute news and reviews.
You've got a game, we've got a way to crack it.
This is one of the best platform games ever made.
I'd rather eat rocks. Play this game.
You'll never miss another trick.
Oh, Lord.
From the beach to the video arcade.
So we're taking these hardcore gamers and we're matching them up with the model.
What would you say is your strategy?
Throttle them until they cry.
To the depths of cyberspace.
In real life, it hurts when a girl slaps her in the face. But in virtual life, there's another hot elf waiting just down the road.
G4 doesn't just take you to the game.
Let the games begin!
Tonight we'll see if our current champions can hold their own against the challengers.
They put you in the game.
Head over to the website. You can recommend what games we play, who we talk to on the show.
Each week, we bring it to life.
We all dream of being NBA players. It's our chance to be NBA players today.
Your vote counts.
Unreal.
And that's not all.
Yo, what's up? This is Coolio with The Flow. Keep your eye out, little punk. Next episode of Players.
You'll go behind closed doors.
I'm actually in the Madden 2002.
You're in it?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
To find out who's playing what.
We play this game 5 hours a day.
Well, you can never have enough gore.
And who's just being played.
This is Tony Hawk. What's up, y'all? We are the Executioners.
This is Pink.
You think you're a true player?
We're players. I'm a player.
Yeah. For life!
Then get into the game.
You can't have a game without secrets and cheats nowadays. But how exactly did the tradition start? On the most recent episode of Cheat, Pringle's Gamer's Guide, host Corey Rouse dug deep to find out about the first Easter egg ever to appear in a video game. Do the words magic dot mean anything to you?
Set the Wayback Machine for 1979, back when the Atari 2600 was the console king, and the game Adventure was the era's Uber game. For you younger gamers, just imagine how big Final Fantasy X is today, and you get the idea. Designed by Warren Robinette, Adventure broke the video game mold of the time.
Well, I was inspired by the original text adventure game that was done by Don Woods and Willie Crowther. I was really excited by that idea of a big network of rooms and objects that you could explore through and pick up objects and carry them around and had some monsters in it. I wanted to try and do that as a video game. My boss told me it was impossible, don't do it.
Robinette didn't listen and made the game anyway. Adventure went on to be one of the biggest games for the Atari 2600. But Robinette hid a secret within the game along with his dragons. Gamers today are rewarded with movie-style credits when they beat games. In the 70s, Atari did not allow their programmers to have on-screen credit for their creations.
Well, they wanted to keep us down. You know, writers get their names on the book, right? Musicians who write a song get their name on the album or the CD. Well, I was proud of that game, but I was proud of it, and I wanted to put my name on it.
Robinette hid a tiny dot in a secret room. This would unlock another secret room when you took it to a certain screen elsewhere in the kingdom. Inside, players would find a message from the game's designer. Strangely enough, this message was inspired by the Beatles.
That was kind of what gave me the idea to hide a secret message in the game. Was people back when I was a teenager would be playing Beatle records backwards. You supposedly could hear "I Buried Paul," and so that was a secret message that was hidden in the record. So I hid my secret message in the video game.
Robinette didn't tell anyone about the secret message. The game was manufactured and shipped to retailers. He left Atari after finishing the game and went off to Europe.
When I came back about a year later, Adventure had been released, the secret room had been discovered, and some kid in Salt Lake City had written a letter to Atari with very detailed instructions about how to get into the secret room. So the Atari management knew about it. The initial knee-jerk reaction is, we can't let them do that. There was a manager of the Atari game designers named Steve Wright, who I believe it was, who said, hey, well, maybe this is a good thing. It's like finding little hidden surprises on Easter morning when you go searching for Easter eggs.
That little pixel became the first video game Easter egg. Robinette's secret creation sometimes overshadows what he feels he accomplished with Adventure.
To tell you the truth, I think that creating the first action-adventure game ought to be considered more significant than creating the first Easter egg. The thing that I like about the Easter egg is that the little guy won. One of the little guys outsmarted them.
For an actual walkthrough of how to pull off the Adventure Easter egg, check out the latest episode of Cheat, Pringle's Gamer's Guide. Go to G4TV.com for showtimes and listings.
Games like Adventure and systems like the Atari 2600 got most of the glory back in the golden age of gaming. But when it comes to classics, there's a fond place in the hearts of fans for the Intellivision system. We met up with some of Intellivision's original programmers to find out more about the history of this long-lost console.
Mattel Electronics presents B-17 Bomb.
A lot of people are saying that the first time they ever touched an Intellivision was their first encounter with a computer.
We were initially an afterthought. I think they thought this will last a year or two. Then we had a year where we sold 800 million in software.
Well, when Atari was first introduced, Mattel started putting together something to compete with it. Mattel figured that being this big prestigious toy company, they would compete with Atari by saying, theirs is a little toy thing that you play some arcade games on. Ours is going to be a family educational and entertainment center. It was more expensive. It was $300 compared to $150 for the Atari, but they had this image behind it.
And I actually heard an ad on the radio, and the ad said, do you want to participate in the exciting world of video games? Why, yes I do, I was thinking. Well, you can be part of the future if you call Mattel at 213-978-JOBS. I still remember the number. It turned out they invited me in for an interview, and I interviewed and was hired, and so on the first day of the Intellivision in-house programming team, I was one of the original 5.
They needed somebody to program a video game based on the Movietron. It was a voice game, which was a new technology, so that was kind of exciting. My game had the very generous amount of space of 12K of memory. A sound effect is more than 12K now in a game. So you had to be very elegant in your programming, you had to be very precise. It was the sports games that immediately set us apart. And so immediately, the sales just started jumping. That was in 1981. Mattel was able to grab about 20% of the market.
In the 70s, when we did it for fun, you got an idea. That idea, it was easy to have an idea that was new, that had been never done before. When I wrote the first baseball game, I didn't know I was writing the first baseball game, I was just a baseball fan.
The games had to be designed so they'd be just instantly, you could pick it up and figure out how to play it. Astro Smash is easily just a game that is the most simple game in the world, but it's just completely addictive. Asteroids falling, you're just shooting them. But it just can get into the Zen state where you can just play it for an hour. Utopia was a game that Don Daglow did. It was a game where you had an island and you had to figure out how to plant crops on your island and keep your people happy and all of this. And it really was the first sim game.
There was a great sense of freedom creatively. They were games which were really handcrafted. Because we had a few months, one programmer, one game, it's a very individual experience compared with gigantic productions. More of the sense of one person's handcrafted vision may come through very clearly.
When the video game industry collapsed in '83 and everybody got out of it in '84, Intellivision survived. They continued to make new games from 1984 through 1990. The best description that anybody ever did of what it was like to program at Mattel was that it was like living in a college dorm. The building was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and there would always be somebody in there programming. That's why I think that after 20 years, a lot of us are still friends.
We never pictured that 20 years later, people would be asking for our autographs for the things we did.
The Intellivision fans are like the Mac fans. They're a little bit more fanatical. They're a little bit more, this is the real system. That Atari 2600, yeah, that's like the PC. The Intellivision, that was the real system.
I never had an Intellivision. I had a friend who had one. What'd you have growing up?
I had Atari.
Yeah.
But I really wanted ColecoVision.
Do you still have it, Andy?
I think the Atari is locked away in the attic somewhere in my parents' house.
I bet it works. I found mine in my folks' attic and it still works. It's a tank. All right, well, coming up after the break, it's the return of Unreal Tournament. The latest installment is in stores, and we've got all the details.
Plus, we'll find out why these people are baring their tongues for the sake of gaming. That's all coming up, only on Pulse.
Hey, this is Tony Hawk, and you're watching G4.
G4TV.com. Ready? Inform.
Head over to the website, join the message boards, get involved in the conversation. You can recommend who we talk to on the show.
I would love to do a Battlezone 3 out there.
We take phone calls.
Would you want to lose if you knew that you could cheat and win?
You can recommend what games we play.
Oh!
It all happened at G4TV.com.
Next.
Dun, 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 dun,
dun. Here's a tip. Our skateboarding tips don't work in the real world. Coming up on Cheat, Pringle's Gamer's Guide. Cheat your way out from behind enemy lines in POW. Ever wanted to surf on a shark? We've got codes for Transworld Surf to show you how. Check out Cheat, Pringle's Gamer's Guide. Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific.
Video games have apparently become the fortune tellers of the 21st century. The latest up to bat is High Heat 2003, which simulated this year's Major League Baseball playoffs and pegged the New York Yankees as the winner of the upcoming World Series. High Heat conducted 15 simulations of the Fall Classic, and the Yankees came off as the champs 8 times, with the San Francisco Giants winning 4.
Forget signing up sports stars for the box cover of your next sports game. It's all about getting the record deal. EA Sports has just signed rapper Fabulous to create an original song for its upcoming game NBA Live 2003. The man behind the song Young and Holla Back will produce the track in the game and will also appear as a playable character in EA's newest Hoops offering.
From the hardwood to the gridiron, the 4th week of the EA Sports Madden Challenge was in Washington, D.C. Fans have been going head-to-head across the nation for a chance to play in the tournament finals at Beaches Resort in Jamaica.
Madden fans from the nation's capital gathered this week at historic Union Station for a chance to take on the other regional winners at Beaches Resort in Jamaica. Competition was tight, but in the end, only Kai Free and Roosevelt Washington had what it took to get to the finals. Kai's Miami Dolphins took control early as Ricky Williams took this second quarter handoff and spun his way 90 yards to the 1-yard line. Rob Conrad punches it in for the early lead. Try as they could, Roosevelt's Rams were powerless to stop the Dolphin rushing attack as Mr. Williams barges in to put Miami up 13-0 at half. In the third, the Rams defense finally put some pressure on Jay Fiedler and picks off this pass in the red zone, setting up a potential score. But on the next play, Kurt Warner gets crunched and delivers this Christmas present to Derek Rogers, killing the Rams' momentum. With time running out, Roosevelt mounts a desperate drive and scores on this Torrey Holt TD to get within 3 points. But it was too little too late. The Dolphins recover the onside attempt to end the game and send Kai Free to Jamaica.
I feel good. I feel real good. I'm a 20-tested veteran, and it's finally paying off in 2003.
Should have took the points early in the game. I tried to get greedy, and it cost me. Competition here was good. It was good competition. But the last guy, he can run the ball. I'll give him that.
If you want a different kind of battle on the field, then you need to go to the Future of Video Game Competition, Unreal Tournament 2003. This latest version of the online action game takes the UT formula and gives it a visual boost. But there are some new tricks to keep the game fresh for old fans. We spoke with one of the producers of the game to find out what's new for UT in 2003.
UT is an old game. It's been around for years. By updating certain things that people are used to, we're now putting them back to noob status. They have to relearn their play mechanics just like everybody else.
Play.
Most standard first-person shooters are, even UT was jump, dodge, run. With 2003, the mutator system that we have in place, the adrenaline combos, the double jumping, the dodge off the wall, it's all geared towards faster movement. The jumping increases when you have your speed boost on, so you can do higher wall jumps. There are certain maps where you can just run around the level and not even touch the ground if you have enough skill. The maps are definitely much larger in size than they were in UT, which brings in that whole team play element again. There are more areas to control, to defend, and move through and coordinate with your teammates.
Red team on offense.
From bombing run, where the goal is to actually grab the ball and run into the enemy base and score in their goal. Once you have the bomb, you have no means of defense, no weapons. You're completely relying on your teammates to cover you as you go through.
Blue team score.
It takes away the I am the king, I am the one-man show when you play. The two new weapons are the ion cannon, which is a orbiting satellite targeted based system. You have a tag rifle that you can mark a spot on the map, and a satellite overhead will drop this large nuclear blast. And one of the other guns is the link gun. With the link gun, you can link up to 3 of your teammates to actually produce a larger, more powerful weapon. Unreal has always been the showcase for the latest and greatest. And this was no different with the arrival of the GeForce 4, and there really haven't been many full, good games that have taken advantage of the hardware. I would say that we're probably right up there as being the ones really pushing what the GeForce 4 can do. There are no canned death animations. It's ragdoll physics. You see your teammate fly across the screen and ricochet off a wall. It's all 100% based off of the geometry in the levels. Championship was actually the brainchild for both games, really. And then we decided that we wanted to do a PC SKU. The new things going into Championship won't be found in 2003, so I'm not going to tell you what they are, but there's some pretty cool things that we're doing for Championship. We didn't just take UT, slap a new coat of paint on it, and try and make more cash by calling it 2003. It is a new game. It's very much like the original, but it has to be its own entity, and that's what we tried to do.
If fragging isn't your kind of competition, maybe you would have had much more fun in Lizard Lick, North Carolina last week. That's where Nintendo held its first Clash of the Tongues competition. It was a celebration of the recent Game Boy Advance release of Yoshi's Island. But there was so much more, Ronnie Lynn.
Oh boy.
Besides the appearance of Yoshi himself, Nintendo decided to risk the germs and allow people to let their tongues do the talking. People licked everything from their own socks to floor mats to lizards themselves. Prizes were awarded for skills like the lengthiest lick and the most imaginative lick. But my personal award goes to Joey Woods, who won for most daring lick by eating canned lizards with hot sauce out of his wife's armpit. I think that goes beyond the contractual obligations of matrimony, Mr. Woods. What just happened?
Okay, that is clearly a sign of the apocalypse.
I think so. In game announcements, you can enjoy the tongue-free antics of the Mad Magazine classic Spy vs. Spy. TDK Media Active has picked up the rights to bring the duo to games.
Also coming from the comic page to the console is Bulletproof Monk. The underground comic is being given the big screen treatment, and Empire Interactive is handling the video game version.
Also on its way is Galador, Defenders of the Outer Dimension for the Game Boy Advance. It's based on the cartoon of the same name and will actually interact with the toys from the show.
In new releases, it's the PS2 platformer Sly Cooper, which has snuck onto store shelves. You play as Cooper, a raccoon who comes from a long line of master thieves. You must use your skills to recover the pages of your family's legendary journal, the Thievius Raccoonus.
Hat tricks are on the way with NHL 2003 for the Xbox. All your favorite hockey teams are in the game, as well as a new deke system that lets you get past the competition.
Out on the 8th is Blinks the Time Sweeper for the Xbox. You'll use time as your personal plaything. Rewind, fast forward, pause, and record time to get through some tough levels.
Wild Arms 3 hits the PS2 on the 8th as well. The latest game in this RPG series goes cartoony with some cel-shaded graphics, but keeps the adventure gameplay intact.
That's it for this week's show. For Patrick Clark, I'm Ronnie Lynn Riley. We'll see you next week on Pulse.